Hello, Juliana Scrolls checking in. Welcome to my candle channel. This is take 2 of my Beeswax tea light refill candles. I'm using a petit pan, and I have a new method for keeping the wicks centered, which is an upgrade since my last video earlier this morning, the 22nd of March, 2020. We are in coronavirus quarantine, so to speak, being very productive. All right, so first I just want to say that we take our wick, this is a square braid cotton wick, and prime it in beeswax. And we have wick sustainer tabs that look like this. So prime the wick, crimp the wick tab on the bottom of the primed wick. Add a little dot of hot glue with a hot glue gun. Center the wick tab and the primed wick in the middle of the petit pan. Tamp it down with a bamboo skewer or similar object. All right, now for the next part. I have bamboo skewers that I can place in between the candle rows, so that I lift up my spacers so they don't rest when I pour beeswax. I really don't want the spacers to make marks on the tops of my candles. So my upgraded process, we'll see if it works, was to use 2 long bamboo skewers like this, and I just tape them together at the ends. So I have a nice long sustainer. Voila, it's gonna work, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Okay, so I just am sliding these down over the tops of my wicks in one nice long row. We've got 15 in this pan. As you can see, we will open this up, slide them down. This is going to be so much better than what I was doing before. And I'm so easily amused. All right. So this little guy moved, but that's okay. I will re-tamp that down. Okay, I might bend it over just a little. Whoops, no. No bending. Let's not bend. We'll just leave it like that. That one came off the bottom. Okay. All right. So I bent that just to hold it in place. These other ones are still glued to the bottom. The wicks are standing up straight. They look pretty centered to me. I said I was letting go of perfectionist tendencies, so I guess I'll keep practicing that. All right, now for the pour. 100% pure beeswax, naturally sweet, honey-scented aroma. All right. There we go. We'll pour peace, love, and happiness into our candles today. So I mentioned these are candles for coronavirus, as we are handling the coronavirus crisis. I will also mention these are candles for cancer, because some of them will be going to someone in particular fighting cancer at this present time and beating it. Candles for coronavirus, candles for cancer, candles for cheer, beeswax is long-lasting, clean-burning, and a sustainable material provided to us by our wonderful bees. It helps clean the air because when you burn beeswax, it emits negative ions into the air, attaching to the positive ions and allergens and so forth, things floating in the air, sucks it back down into the candle or lets it drop down to earth. People have reported healthy benefits and easier breathing. Those people who've had asthma, sometimes they report feeling better after burning a beeswax candle near the bedside table. Okay, it looks like the wicks are staying more centered. A little bit better than what I did before. So I'm happy with this so far. Just take a quick look. One of them fell down here, but I can pick it up. It's like pickup sticks. There. Okay. If I gently push down on the bamboo skewers, I can pull the wick into the center. Still not perfect, but I think they're gonna be all right. Center, 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 center. Even though they're leaning, as long as the wick is in the center, when we trim them, as long as they're close, we'll be good to go. Because when you burn the beeswax candle, you can take a tool and recenter your wicks as you go. It's all very helpful in practicing presence. All right, I think I'm going to stop messing with those and let them sit here now. Okay, so my long rows of wicks with the bamboo skewers seem to be working pretty well. Usually I have a few minutes before the skin forms on top as it cools. Once that skin starts forming, we don't want to mess with it because it just cracks the beeswax and it's not smooth on top. It's not as pretty. It's really all about aesthetics. The candle's going to burn fine either way. All right, so let those, let's see, we're at 9 minutes on this video. I may as well go ahead and let it run so we watch them cool here. You'll get a sense of how long it takes. And this is one that I did earlier. You can see how pretty it is. Nice dark golden color. I guess we could light one while we're waiting for the others to cool. All candles are helpful. Yes, let's light one that I know. We'll light this one because it needs to. We have extra wax to burn off. Let's show how that works out. All right, so the reason I like the refills so much is that I can put them in glass and reuse the glass over and over and over. Here is a glass tea light holder that I have used, as I said, over and over again. Okay. And this tea light will fit inside there. So we don't have the plastic or the aluminum or tin waste every time we burn a tea light. So this beeswax candle was poured about an hour ago. It's already firmed up nicely. Let's go ahead and see if we can. It had a lot of extra wax on the wick because it was one that I was moving around and I was having a hard time with. So we'll let that burn away while we're waiting a couple more moments to let the rest of the tea lights harden. I just love this process so much. Maybe you'll find some value in it. But look at the beautiful golden glow already of the beeswax candle. Turned off the light so we can see. I started burning beeswax, making beeswax candles 2.5 years ago, and I thought I'd get bored of it. But I haven't. It has been just so incredibly satisfying. All right, I think our wicks are set enough now to where I can take this. I think I can take the spacers off now. So we'll do that gently. Once the skin is on top of the candle, see, once they've set, we can take the spacers off without waiting for them to harden all the way through. So we'll gently pull them apart, make sure they're all free. Well, the end of this one got in the wax down there. I wasn't paying enough attention and the end of it dipped in. So that's what we want to avoid, is that messy sloppiness. Right? But I think this will work pretty well once I have a little more practice. When you want to make a batch of candles, kind of like a batch of cookies, we want to make a dozen or more at a time. This is actually looking pretty good. Here, I'll give you one more look. So take a look at that one. I like that. Messy. The rest of them are going to be fine. They're going to be all nicely burning regardless. All right. So we'll take this guy. Let's see if it's cooled off enough to where I can show you the very light yellow color until it hardens and becomes darker yellow. Like the one burning. So this is the one in the last video I made earlier. The wick is not exactly centered. All right. So usually I wait a little longer before I trim the wick, but I want to show you one more time. We like to trim the wick to 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. Very short, so the wick isn't too long, because if the wick is too long, then the flame will be too big and it will start smoking. So one last tip and I'll sign off. See, this wick is a tiny, tiny bit off center, but as we burn the candle, we can move it around and make the flame be centered regardless of where the wick is. So candles do like our company. They never like to be left unattended. And I find this a very useful practice in centering not only the candle wick, but ourselves. Juliana Sproles, signing out.